The human who took a job in an alien village. Marcus Chen stared at the job posting on his cracked tablet screen for the 100th time. The words seemed too good to be true. Seeking experienced engineer for remote construction project. Excellent pay, housing provided, unique cultural experience guaranteed. After losing his job at the Mars terraforming project and burning through his savings, Marcus couldn't afford to be picky. The meeting location was a dingy coffee shop in New Tokyo's Spaceport district. The being waiting for him barely reached his shoulder, with pale blue skin that shifted colors like an oil slick and 4 arms that moved with surprising grace. The alien introduced himself as Zephyr, speaking perfect English through a small translator device clipped to his collar. "Mr. Chen, your engineering credentials are impressive," Zephyr said, his large black eyes studying the tablet displaying Marcus's resume. "Our village on Kepler 442b needs someone to design and oversee construction of a new community center. The project will take approximately 6 months. Marcus leaned forward, trying to hide his desperation. "What kind of community center, and why hire a human engineer?" Zephyr's skin flickered from blue to a warm purple. "Our people value diversity in design philosophy. Human engineering approaches often solve problems we cannot see ourselves. The center will serve multiple functions, gathering space, educational facility, and—" He paused, searching for words. "Celebration hall for important life ceremonies." The pay offer made Marcus's eyes widen. It was more than he'd made in 2 years on Mars. "What's the catch?" "No catch, as you humans say. Simply that you must live in our village during construction. Our people prefer to know those who build for them. You would be provided with housing, meals, and full integration into our community." Marcus thought about his empty apartment, his mounting debts, and the rejection letters piling up in his inbox. "When do I start?" 3 weeks later, Marcus stepped off the transport shuttle onto Kepler 442b's surface. The planet was breathable for humans, with slightly lower gravity that made each step feel like a gentle bounce. The landscape looked like Earth's countryside painted in alien colors, grass that swayed in shades of silver and gold, trees with crystalline bark that sang in the wind. Zephyr met him at the landing pad with a hover cart for his equipment. "Welcome to Harmony Falls," he said, gesturing toward a valley dotted with dome-shaped buildings that seemed to grow from the earth itself. "Your new home for the next 6 months." As they traveled toward the village, Marcus marveled at the architecture. The buildings weren't constructed, but somehow cultivated, their walls breathing and shifting subtly as if alive. Gardens spiraled up their sides, and soft light emanated from within their translucent surfaces. "How do you build like this?" Marcus asked, running his fingers along a wall that felt warm and slightly yielding. "We do not build as humans understand," Zephyr explained. "We grow. We nurture. We coax structures into being through harmony with our environment. This is why we need you, Marcus Chen. Your mechanical precision will complement our organic methods." The village center buzzed with activity. Marcus saw more of Zephyr's people, the Keplerians, as they called themselves, moving between the buildings with fluid grace. They came in various sizes and skin tones, some tall and willowy, others compact and sturdy, all sharing the distinctive 4-armed physiology and color-shifting skin. "Your dwelling," Zephyr announced, stopping before a small dome near the village edge. Inside, Marcus found the space surprisingly comfortable, with furniture that adjusted to his body and walls that provided perfect ambient lighting. A kitchen area offered both human food synthesis and samples of local cuisine. "The construction site is prepared," Zephyr continued. "Tomorrow we will show you what we envision, and you will show us how to make it real." That first night, Marcus lay on a bed that seemed to cradle him like a gentle embrace, listening to the village settle around him. Through his translucent walls, He could see Keplerians moving about their evening routines. Some tended gardens that glowed softly in the darkness. Others gathered in small groups, their skin patterns shifting in synchronized displays he couldn't interpret. The next morning, Zephyr led him to the construction site, a cleared area at the village's heart where several Keplerians waited with what looked like a mixture of traditional tools and biological specimens that pulsed with their own light. "This is our construction team," Zephyr said, introducing Marcus to each member. Their names sounded like musical notes, and their skin patterns shifted to warm yellows and greens as they greeted him. The head of the construction team, a tall Keplerian named Harmony, showed Marcus the plans. They weren't blueprints in any conventional sense, but living diagrams that moved and shifted, showing the intended building from every angle and through all seasons. "We want the center to accommodate 500 people for gatherings," Harmony explained, her 4 hands manipulating the display. "It must have spaces for learning, for reflection, and for our bonding ceremonies." "Bonding ceremonies?" Marcus asked, making notes on his tablet. Harmony's skin shifted to a deep purple, and she exchanged glances with Zephyr. "When our people choose to create new life together, it is, how do you say, very important to our culture." Marcus nodded, focusing on the technical aspects. The building needed to be part amphitheater, part classroom, part sacred space. As he studied the living blueprints, ideas began forming. Steel and concrete wouldn't work here, but perhaps he could design a framework that would guide their organic construction methods. Over the following days, Marcus threw himself into the work. He learned that Keplerian construction involved cultivating structures from seed pods that responded to harmonic frequencies. His job was to design the underlying support system and coordinate the growth patterns to achieve the desired form and function. The work was unlike anything he'd done before. Instead of forcing materials into shape, he was learning to coax and guide living architecture. The Keplerians taught him their harmonic techniques, while he showed them load distribution and structural engineering principles. "You understand quickly," Harmony told him one afternoon as they watched a support beam slowly grow into place, guided by a complex sequence of tones. "Most off-worlders struggle with our methods." "It's beautiful," Marcus admitted, watching the beam branch and strengthen itself according to the harmonic patterns. "On Earth, we build against nature. Here, you build with it." As the weeks passed, Marcus found himself drawn into village life beyond just the construction project. The Keplerians included him in their meals, their discussions, even their evening entertainment. Their music was unlike anything he'd heard, harmonic frequencies that seemed to resonate in his bones and make the very air shimmer. He noticed that the villagers often worked in groups, their skin patterns synchronizing as they focused on shared tasks. When they were happy or excited, waves of bright color would ripple through a gathering like visual music. "Your skin doesn't change color," a young Keplerian named Melody observed during one evening meal. "How do others know your feelings?" Marcus laughed. "We use words, facial expressions, body language." Melody's skin shifted to curious silver. "But that seems so limited. How do you share deep emotions? How do you bond truly with others?" Before Marcus could answer, Zephyr intervened, his skin flashing a sharp orange that Marcus had learned indicated discomfort. "Melody, perhaps such questions are too personal for our guest." But Marcus had grown fond of the young Keplerian's endless curiosity. "It's okay. We humans bond through shared experiences, through trust built over time. We don't have your color communication, but we find other ways." The construction progressed smoothly. Marcus's framework guided the organic growth perfectly, creating soaring spaces that felt both ancient and futuristic. The learning areas nested naturally into alcoves that seemed designed for quiet contemplation, while the main gathering space opened like a flower toward the sky. but it was the bonding ceremony area that required the most careful attention. Marcus worked closely with Harmony and Zephyr to understand exactly what was needed. The space had to accommodate intricate rituals involving harmonic resonance, but they were strangely evasive about the details. "It is sacred," Harmony would say whenever Marcus asked for specifics. "You will understand when it is complete." As the project neared completion, Marcus realized he'd grown attached to Harmony Falls. The village had become more than just a workplace. It felt like home. The Keplerians had welcomed him with warmth he'd rarely experienced among his own species. His small dome had been gradually modified by the villagers, with additions that made it more comfortable and beautiful. One evening, as Marcus reviewed the final construction plans, Zephyr visited his dwelling. The alien's skin patterns were unusually subdued, cycling through muted purples and grays. "Marcus," Zephyr began, settling onto one of the adaptive chairs. "The community center will be completed soon. You have exceeded all our expectations. The village council has discussed your situation." Marcus looked up from his tablet. "My situation?" "Your contract ends soon, but we have grown fond of you. You understand our ways better than any human we have met. We would like to offer you permanent residence in Harmony Falls." Marcus felt a surge of unexpected emotion. "Permanent residence? But my visa, my work permits—" "All arranged," Zephyr said, his skin brightening slightly. "You would continue as our chief engineer, helping expand the village, teaching others your methods. You would be given full citizenship, all rights and responsibilities of village membership." That's incredibly generous," Marcus said, his mind racing. He thought about Earth, about his failed career, about the loneliness that had driven him to take this job in the first place. Here, he'd found purpose and community. "There is one aspect of citizenship we must discuss," Zephyr continued, his skin patterns growing more complex. "Full members of our community participate in all village activities, all ceremonies, all responsibilities." "Of course," Marcus said. "I'd be honored to participate in your cultural practices." Zephyr's skin shifted to that sharp orange Marcus had learned meant discomfort. "Perhaps we should schedule a meeting with the council. There are details about citizenship that require explanation." Before Marcus could ask what he meant, Melody burst through his door, her skin blazing with excited golds and reds. "Marcus, the community center is amazing. Everyone is so happy with your work. And did Zephyr tell you about the citizenship ceremony?" "Melody," Zephyr said sharply, his skin flashing warning colors. But Melody was too excited to notice. "Oh, it will be wonderful. You'll be the first human to participate in a bonding ceremony. Mother says it's been decades since we had a new citizen who could help with the village babies." Marcus looked between them, confusion growing. "Help with babies?" Zephyr's skin had gone completely gray, and Melody suddenly seemed to realize she'd said something wrong. Her vibrant colors faded to nervous yellows. "Perhaps," Zephyr said carefully, "we should schedule that council meeting for tomorrow." That night, Marcus lay awake, staring at his ceiling, wondering what exactly he'd agreed to. The excitement in Melody's voice when she mentioned babies echoed in his mind. And there was something about the way Zephyr had reacted, the careful way all the villagers had discussed the bonding ceremonies. Tomorrow, he suspected he was going to learn something very important about Keplerian culture that no one had bothered to mention before. Outside his dwelling, the village hummed with late-night activity, and he could swear he heard more excitement in the harmonic patterns than usual, as if the entire community was preparing for something momentous, something that apparently involved him and babies in ways he couldn't yet imagine. The human who took a job in an alien village. Continued Marcus arrived at the council chamber the next morning with sweaty palms and 1,000 questions racing through his mind. The chamber itself was one of the most beautiful spaces he'd seen in the village. A circular room with living walls that pulsed gently with bioluminescent patterns, providing soft, calming light. 7 Keplerians sat in a circle, their skin patterns synchronized in slow, formal waves of deep blue and silver. Zephyr gestured for Marcus to take a seat on a cushion that molded itself to his body. Marcus Chen, began an elderly Keplerian whose skin bore permanent silver markings that indicated high status. We are Council Leader Echo. We welcome you to this formal discussion of citizenship. Marcus straightened, trying to project confidence he didn't feel. I'm honored by your offer. I've come to love Harmony Falls and its people. Echo's skin shifted to warm gold. Your work has been exceptional. More than that, you have shown respect for our ways and genuine care for our community. This is why we offer what we have never offered before, full citizenship to a human. I'm grateful, Marcus said. But Melody mentioned something yesterday about bonding ceremonies and babies. I'm not sure I understand what my role would be. The council members exchanged glances, their skin patterns flickering in rapid, complex communications Marcus couldn't interpret. Finally, Echo spoke again. Our reproduction is not like human reproduction. We do not simply mate and produce offspring. Our bonding ceremonies are sacred processes that require specific contributions from all community members. Marcus felt his stomach tighten. What kind of contributions? A younger council member, her skin patterns indicating nervousness, spoke up. Perhaps we should explain our biology first. Keplerians reproduce through harmonic resonance. When 2 or more of our people choose to create life together, they enter a bonding ceremony that can last several days. During this time, their biological essences combine through shared harmonic frequencies. Like singing? Marcus asked, confused. More than singing, Echo explained. Our harmonic abilities extend beyond sound. We can share genetic material, emotional resonance, even life force through sustained harmonic bonding. But the process requires... Echo paused, struggling with the translation. Witnesses who can contribute stabilizing frequencies. Marcus's engineering mind tried to process this scientifically. So, you're saying reproduction requires community participation? Yes, said another council member, her skin brightening with relief at his understanding. Every bonding ceremony needs citizens who can provide harmonic support. The more diverse the harmonic contributions, the healthier and stronger the resulting offspring. But I can't produce harmonic frequencies like you can, Marcus pointed out. I don't have your color-changing skin or your 4 arms. True, Echo acknowledged, but humans produce different vibrations. Your brain patterns, your vocal cords, even your emotional resonance create unique frequencies. We have learned that human participation in bonding ceremonies produces offspring with remarkable traits, stronger, more adaptable, more capable of surviving in diverse environments. Marcus felt heat rising in his cheeks. Are you saying you want me to participate in your mating rituals? The entire council's skin patterns shifted to urgent orange. The color Marcus had learned indicated crisis or major misunderstanding. No, Echo said quickly. Not mating. The bonding ceremony requires witnesses, supporters, harmonic contributors. You would not, how do you say, physically participate in reproduction. You would provide harmonic stabilization through your human frequencies. Relief flooded through Marcus, followed immediately by curiosity. How exactly would this work? Harmony, who had been quiet until now, spoke up. During bonding ceremonies, supporters gather in the ceremonial space and provide harmonic accompaniment. Humans naturally produce electromagnetic fields and sound frequencies that complement our own. Your presence and participation would help ensure successful bonding and healthy offspring. It is a great honor, added another council member. We are asking you to help bring new life into our community, to be a godparent, as humans might say, to every child born during your citizenship. Marcus sat back, his mind reeling. This was definitely not what he'd expected when he took the engineering job. But looking around at the council members, seeing the hope and genuine affection in their shifting skin patterns, he realized they were offering him something unprecedented, not just employment, but true belonging. "How often would these ceremonies take place?" he asked. "Perhaps 3 or 4 times per year," Echo replied. "Bonding ceremonies are planned carefully when harmonies are optimal. Spring and autumn are preferred seasons." Marcus thought about his life on Earth, about the isolation and purposelessness that had driven him to take this job. Here, these people wanted him not just as a worker, but as an integral part of their community's future. "What exactly would I need to do during these ceremonies?" Echo's skin patterns shifted to formal presentation mode. "You would join the harmonic circle. The bonding pair would be at the center, surrounded by their chosen supporters. You would provide vocal harmonies, meditation, positive intention. Your human brain waves create patterns our offspring can benefit from." "And this is safe?" Marcus asked. "Completely," Harmony assured him. "The process is beautiful, sacred. You would find it deeply moving. Many humans who have observed our ceremonies describe them as transcendent experiences." "Observed?" Marcus caught the word. "Other humans have seen these ceremonies?" "Diplomatic observers, scientists," Echo explained. "But never participants, never contributors. You would be the first human to actually support a bonding ceremony." Marcus stood and walked to the chamber's living wall, placing his hand against its warm, pulsing surface. Through the translucent material, he could see the village bustling with daily life. Children played in the gardens, adults tended their organic structures, and everywhere he looked, he saw the harmony that defined Keplerian society. "If I agree," he said slowly, "what happens next?" "We celebrate," exclaimed the youngest council member, her skin exploding in joyous rainbow patterns. "There is a bonding ceremony planned for next month. River and Storm have been preparing for 2 years to create life together. They specifically requested that you be included as a harmonic supporter." Marcus turned back to the council. "They requested me? But they don't even know me well." "They know your work," Echo said gently. "They know your character. You helped build the space where their bonding ceremony will take place. They want the creator of that sacred space to help create their new life." The weight of the honor settled on Marcus's shoulders. These people weren't just offering him a job or even citizenship. They were inviting him into the most intimate and sacred aspect of their culture. "I need to understand more about the process," Marcus said. "I need to know exactly what's expected of me." "Of course," Echo agreed. "Harmony will be your guide. She will teach you the harmonic patterns, the meditation techniques, the proper protocols. You have 3 weeks to prepare." Over the following days, Marcus threw himself into learning Keplerian bonding traditions with the same intensity he'd applied to the construction project. Harmony was a patient teacher, explaining the intricate harmonics and the spiritual significance of each aspect of the ceremony. "The bonding ceremony is more than reproduction," she explained during one lesson. "It is the joining of souls, the creation of new consciousness from the love and commitment of the bonding pair. All supporters are helping to weave that new soul into existence." Marcus practiced the harmonic patterns, learning to blend his human voice with Keplerian frequencies in ways that created stunning resonances. His engineering background helped him understand the acoustic principles, but the spiritual aspects required a different kind of learning. "Your human brain patterns are fascinating," Harmony told him during a meditation session. "When you focus on positive intentions, your electromagnetic signature becomes incredibly complex and beautiful. The offspring will carry traces of that pattern throughout their lives." "That's a huge responsibility," Marcus realized. "Yes," Harmony agreed, her skin patterns showing deep respect. "This is why citizenship in our community is so significant. You are not just living here, you are helping to shape our future generations." As the bonding ceremony approached, Marcus met River and Storm, the pair who would be creating new life. They were young by Keplerian standards, their skin patterns bright and energetic, their devotion to each other obvious in the way they synchronized their color changes without conscious effort. "We are honored to have the builder of our ceremony space participate in our bonding," River said, her skin shifting through grateful purples and golds. "Your harmony will help our child understand the beauty of diverse perspectives." Storm, more reserved but equally sincere, added, "Our offspring will grow up knowing that different species can work together in creation. This is a gift we want to give them." The week before the ceremony, Marcus found himself increasingly nervous and excited. The villagers' anticipation was infectious. Their skin patterns had grown brighter and more harmonious, and the very air seemed to hum with expectant energy. "You were worried," Zephyr observed one evening as they shared a meal. Marcus nodded. "What if I mess up? What if my human frequencies somehow harm the bonding process?" Zephyr's skin shifted to reassuring blue-green. "Impossible. The ceremony has built-in safeguards, and your intentions are pure. You want to help create life, to support love, to contribute to our community's future. Those feelings will guide your harmonics correctly." "Have you participated in many bonding ceremonies?" Marcus asked. "Dozens," Zephyr replied, his patterns taking on the deep, complex hues that indicated memories of profound experiences. "Each one is different, but all are beautiful. You will understand when you experience it yourself." The night before the ceremony, Marcus lay in his dwelling listening to the village prepare. The bonding chamber, the space he'd helped design, was being prepared with living decorations that would respond to the harmonic patterns of the ceremony. He could hear the soft singing of preparation rituals drifting through his walls. Tomorrow, he would become part of something he'd never imagined when he took a simple engineering job. Tomorrow, he would help bring new life into the world in a way no human had ever done before. As he finally drifted off to sleep, Marcus realized that somewhere along the way, Harmony Falls had stopped being just a workplace or even just a home. It had become his community, his family, his future. And tomorrow, he would take the final step in making that bond permanent. Outside, the village hummed with the deep, harmonious frequencies of a community preparing for one of its most sacred celebrations. And for the first time since arriving on Kepler 442b, Marcus felt truly ready for whatever tomorrow would bring. The human who took a job in an alien village. Conclusion. The morning of the bonding ceremony dawned with unusual atmospheric conditions. The planet's twin suns created prismatic displays in the crystalline clouds, and the very air seemed to shimmer with anticipatory energy. Marcus woke to find his dwelling walls glowing brighter than usual, responding to the heightened electromagnetic activity in the village. Harmony arrived early to help him prepare. She brought ceremonial clothing, flowing robes that seemed to be woven from light itself, shifting between translucent silver and deep blue as they moved. "These will help your energy blend with ours during the ceremony," she explained, helping him adjust the unfamiliar garments. "They're made from fibers that respond to harmonic frequencies." Marcus examined the fabric, marveling at how it felt both substantial and weightless. "This is incredible craftsmanship. Made by the same couple who bonded last spring," Harmony said, her skin patterns showing warm affection. "Their first offspring helped grow the threads. This is how our community works. Each generation contributes to the ceremonies of the next." As they made their way to the community center, Marcus saw the entire village in a state of celebration. Gardens bloomed with flowers that only opened for special occasions, their petals creating complex patterns of color and light. The pathways themselves seemed to glow, guiding everyone toward the ceremony space. "Is the whole village participating?" Marcus asked, noticing crowds of Keplerians moving in the same direction. "Not in the bonding chamber itself," Harmony explained. "That space is reserved for River, Storm, and their chosen harmonic supporters. But the entire community will provide background harmonies from the surrounding spaces. The ceremony affects everyone." They entered the community center Marcus had helped design, and he barely recognized it. The space had been transformed by living decorations that pulsed with bioluminescent patterns. Crystalline formations had grown from the walls overnight, creating natural amplification chambers for the harmonic frequencies. "Your architectural framework allowed for this transformation," Harmony told him with pride. "The building responds to the ceremony because you designed it to work with our organic methods." The bonding chamber itself took Marcus's breath away. The circular space he'd engineered as a flexible ceremonial area had become something beyond his imagination. Living vines created intricate patterns on the walls, shifting and breathing with the rhythm of the village's collective heartbeat. The ceiling had opened like a flower, revealing the prismatic light display above. At the center of the chamber, River and Storm stood together, their skin patterns synchronized in complex, beautiful displays of deep purple and gold. Their four arms intertwined as they focused on each other with complete devotion. Around them, in carefully positioned alcoves Marcus had designed, sat 12 Keplerian harmonic supporters. Marcus recognized most of them: council members, elders, close friends, and family of the bonding pair. Each alcove was equipped with crystalline resonators that would amplify and blend their contributions. "Your position," Harmony said, guiding Marcus to a special alcove that had been modified since the building's completion. It now contained additional equipment he didn't recognize, devices that hummed softly with electromagnetic energy. "What are these?" Marcus asked, examining the strange apparatus. "Human harmonic amplifiers," explained an elderly Keplerian Marcus hadn't met before. She introduced herself as Resonance, the village's master of ceremonies. "We had them grown specifically for your participation. They'll translate your human brain patterns and vocal harmonies into frequencies our offspring can absorb and benefit from." Marcus settled into his alcove, feeling the strange equipment respond to his presence. Gentle tendrils of the amplification system made contact with his temples, and immediately he could sense the harmonic patterns of the other supporters. It was like suddenly being able to hear music that had been playing just below the threshold of perception. "The ceremony begins," Resonance announced, her skin patterns shifting to formal silver and gold. What followed was unlike anything Marcus had ever experienced. The bonding ceremony started with simple harmonic patterns, individual supporters contributing their own frequencies, while River and Storm remained focused on each other. Marcus found his voice naturally blending with the alien harmonics, creating resonances that made the very air shimmer. As the ceremony progressed, the harmonics grew more complex. Marcus watched in wonder as River and Storm's skin patterns began to merge, their colors flowing from one to the other in increasingly intricate displays. The harmonic amplifiers translated his contribution into visible energy patterns that swirled around the bonding pair. "You're doing beautifully," Harmony whispered during a brief pause. "Your frequencies are creating stability patterns we've never seen before." Hours passed, though Marcus lost all sense of time. The ceremony moved through different phases: commitment harmonies, genetic resonance patterns, and finally the life creation frequencies that would begin the formation of new consciousness. During this final phase, Marcus felt something extraordinary happen. Through the harmonic amplifiers, he could sense the moment when new life sparked into existence. It was like watching a star being born, but on an intimate, personal scale. The new consciousness was tiny, barely more than potential, but unmistakably present. "You feel it too," River said, her voice filled with wonder. Though she remained focused on Storm, her patterns now included traces of gold that Marcus somehow knew were connected to his own contributions. The consciousness growing within River seemed to pulse in rhythm with Marcus's heartbeat, as if recognizing a connection that transcended species boundaries. In that moment, Marcus understood what the Keplerians had been trying to explain. He wasn't just witnessing the creation of life, he was helping to weave the very essence of a new soul. As the ceremony reached its climax, all the harmonic supporters joined in a final unified frequency that seemed to embrace the new consciousness with love and welcome. Marcus felt tears streaming down his face as he realized he was experiencing something sacred beyond his wildest imagination. When the harmonics finally faded, the chamber fell into reverent silence. River and Storm's skin patterns had settled into new configurations that included permanent traces of their supporters' frequencies, including distinctive silver threads that Marcus recognized as his own contribution. "It is done," Resonance announced. "New life has been welcomed into our community with the blessing of unprecedented harmonic diversity." Over the following weeks, as River's pregnancy progressed, Marcus discovered that his connection to the developing child was permanent. He could sense its growth through the harmonic amplifiers, and even without them, he sometimes felt echoes of its developing consciousness. "The child recognizes you," River told him during one of his visits. "Your harmonic signature has become part of its foundational patterns. You are truly its godparent in ways we never anticipated." The villagers' reactions to the successful ceremony exceeded all expectations. Marcus found himself invited to participate in 2 more bonding ceremonies before the season ended, each one unique but equally profound. The offspring from these unions showed remarkable traits: enhanced adaptability, unusual problem-solving abilities, and an instinctive understanding of harmony between different types of consciousness. "You have changed our community forever," Echo told him during a formal citizenship recognition ceremony. "Not just through your engineering skills, but through your participation in our most sacred traditions. You have proven that true belonging transcends species." Marcus received his formal citizenship documents, living parchment that bore his name in patterns that shifted between human alphabets and Keplerian harmonic symbols. More importantly, he received the permanent skin marking that identified him as a full community member, a bioengineered tattoo that shifted colors in response to his emotions, allowing him to participate in the visual communications that were so central to Keplerian culture. As autumn settled over Harmony Falls, Marcus found himself contemplating how dramatically his life had changed. He'd come to this village as a desperate, unemployed engineer looking for temporary work. Now he was an integral part of a community that valued him not just for his technical skills, but for his unique human perspective and his contribution to their future generations. "Do you ever regret your choice?" Zephyr asked one evening as they watched the sunset paint the sky in impossible colors. Marcus touched his new citizenship marking, feeling it respond to his contentment with warm, steady blue patterns. "Never. Though I have to admit, when I took this job, I never expected it to include helping alien babies come into existence. And we never expected a human to understand our ways so completely," Zephyr replied, his own patterns mirroring Marcus's satisfaction. "River and Storm's child has begun showing signs of remarkable intelligence already. The physicians believe your harmonic contributions enhanced its cognitive development." "All 3 children from this season's ceremonies are exceptional," Marcus said with pride. "I'm honored to have played a part in their creation." As winter approached, Marcus received a communication from Earth, a job offer from a prestigious terraforming corporation. The pay was substantial, the position prestigious, everything he thought he'd wanted when he first left his home planet. He deleted the message without a second thought. His real home was here, in a village where his engineering skills were valued, where his unique human perspective was treasured, and where he played an irreplaceable role in bringing new life into the world. The children he'd helped create would grow up knowing that diversity strengthened communities, that different species could work together in the most intimate ways possible. Spring bonding season begins in 4 months, Harmony mentioned, as they reviewed plans for expanding the village infrastructure. 3 couples have already requested your participation in their ceremonies. Marcus smiled, his citizenship markings shifting to anticipatory gold. Then we better make sure the ceremonial spaces are ready. These children are going to be special. Looking out over Harmony Falls, watching the bioluminescent patterns of evening activity begin to glow in the gathering dusk, Marcus realized he'd found something he'd never even known he was searching for: purpose, belonging, and a role in creating the future, not just for one species, but for the unprecedented community they were building together. In 6 months, he'd gone from a failed engineer to a pioneering participant in interspecies cooperation. He'd helped design buildings that grew like living things, learned to blend his voice with alien harmonics, and contributed to the creation of a new generation that would inherit the best of both human and Keplerian traits. The job posting had promised a unique cultural experience. It had delivered something far more profound, a new way of understanding what it meant to belong, to contribute, and to help life flourish in ways that transcended the boundaries between species. As the twin moons rose over Harmony Falls, casting silver light on the village he'd helped build and the community he'd helped expand, Marcus knew he'd finally found his place in the universe. And that place, unexpectedly, was as a human who'd learned to help alien families grow, one sacred ceremony at a time.